I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers. Well, we are the Button Mappers, and we're here to say, play Sega every day.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, spitting rhymes.
From Button Mappers to Button Rappers.
Oh. Welcome to the Button Mapper show.
Yes, welcome.
The only show that praises Sega for an entire fucking episode.
And month.
And month. Well, sort of, but yeah, and month.
Happy Seg-tember.
Sega.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
Like, I hate to say like you're bullying someone, but it's like, nah.
Sega. Yeah, Sega.
Sega. Yeah, but you're not
Stop
Sega.
it. Sega.
But here
we hear
at the Button Mappers, I'm taking the worst out of your mouth. We
yeah,
love
I'm trying to say
Sega.
I'm trying to talk.
I know. I said it all. We love Sega.
We just love Sega so much, we're fighting over how much we love Sega.
Yeah.
So we're doing an entire intellectual discourse about Sega. How do we do that? How is this different? Well, we'll find out. We've only done other videos like this about consoles, so I think it'll be interesting to break that mold.
Mm-hmm. So why not just start with a fun fact? Can you tell me a fun fact about Sega?
Their mascot is not Alex Kidd.
Ah.
It's Sonic Hedgehog.
Who the fuck is Alex Kidd?
Who the fuck is Alex Kidd? It was their old mascot. Before Sonic Hedgehog.
Yeah, I'll take a hedgehog any day.
Do you think his last name's Hedgehog, or is it just the Hedgehog? Because I figured like it's just Sonic Hedgehog, you know, like when he gets like a piece of mail or something. It's like dear Sonic Hedgehog, you have jury duty.
Maybe we don't know. Maybe it's like Sonic Jones.
Sonic Jones. Maybe it's Sonic like Smith.
Wait, if it's Sonic and Knuckles, does that mean they're like related?
I don't want to talk about it. Stop talking about this. I don't want to get into this. Sega though. What Teddy, what's your first Sega experience?
Okay. I've said it before on the show, but it was the Genesis.
Same. And I think that was many people's first Sega experience. Now, that's not the first time they were around. They've been around for many years. In fact, they had a couple consoles out before the Genesis. But the Genesis really popularized the Sega name.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a whole video about the Genesis, so I don't want to harp on the Genesis too much. But you can't talk about Sega without even mentioning the Genesis.
Yeah, I mean, that was the birth of the Sega, more or less.
Yeah, that's where, there were some randos that had the Master System. Don't get me wrong.
Shout-outs to Brazil.
Yeah, shout-outs to Brazil. But
in the EU.
At least here in North America, if you're a Sega fan, you probably got hooked with the Genesis.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I mean, that's where the majority of the Sega titles are today. They are on the Genesis.
Yeah. But I mean, that's not all Sega did. You know, Sega's been around for many years. They've had many franchises outside of Sonic the Hedgehog.
I mean, we here at the Button Mappers are big fans of the Saturn as well.
The Saturn. And then there's a huge following for the Dreamcast. Then Sega died.
Well, they've lived vicariously through their software titles.
Yeah, they went third party, and they've been making games for other consoles ever since, which was bizarre. Do you remember the first time you saw like a Sonic game on the GameCube or something like that?
I think it was more jarring when I saw them on the Wii. I don't know. No.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe like Sonic and Smash Bros. I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Or like Sonic and Mario at the Olympics
Yeah.
or whatever. And you're like, wait a second. It was crazy though, because like it was like Sega and Nintendo had this like big rivalry through the 90s, and then like as soon as Sega like dropped their consoles, they became like best pals. I mean, they even made F-Zero GX, a game that we can't go an entire episode without talking about.
That's credit to our names, though.
But I mean, they even made that game, so it was.
I mean, I kind of like that they got to focus on the software library. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like nowadays with like the way that the gaming market is, they don't really get to do too much. They do their Sonics, their Yakuza, Valkyria Chronicles, and then of course now they own Atlas, so they do like Persona and stuff. But they used to, like right after the Dreamcast sank into the ocean, and they all abandoned ship, they used to like bring out a lot of neat and interesting games to the other platforms. Games like, of course, you had your Sonic titles, you had like Virtua Fighter and Crazy Taxi, the titles that were that were still going on the Dreamcast, and then you had like some sequels like Shenmue 2. Jet Set Radio got a sequel on the Xbox. They made Billy Hatcher the Giant Egg on the GameCube. They made a Night sequel on the Wii. Somebody Migo came to the Wii. They just, like Alien Syndrome. Like they just kept making like different and weird titles. I think up until like the current generation is really where they kind of stopped all that.
Why do you go back and play Sega titles today, or like why have those ones stuck out to you as opposed to other libraries like the Nintendo libraries, or why maybe they rival the Nintendo libraries?
I think the Sega IPs kind of rival the Nintendo IPs in a way. I mean, I know obviously they aren't they aren't as strong. Obviously like games like Jet Set Radio aren't as strong as like Metroid or something. But like like you go back and play those like the Sega racing crossover game and stuff like that. Like they're just so colorful, and there's so much like there's so much character. Like playing Monkey Ball or something. Like it just feels like this could be like a Nintendo IP almost.
They have some kind of arcade authenticity, and maybe it's because they made arcade games back in the day, and I think that's something that has lived well in their titles since.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially coming off of the Dreamcast, they still had some of that arcade feel to a lot of their games, and and you know what? I actually just remembered that they're bringing out Streets of Rage 4 soon.
Wow,
isn't that neat?
Welcome to the Streets of Rage.
Hopefully this is a good sign. Hopefully this means they can rebirth some of their classic franchises like Golden Axe or Comic Zone, Vector Man, like Altered Beast. That'd be neat. Of course, they still bring out their Sega Ages games too, which is really cool.
Do you feel like we're trapped in a cycle of reliving as opposed to experiencing anew?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, honestly, like a lot of the games that I've bought recently have been like remasters, remakes, like that kind of jazz, or like even like a rehash. It's like, oh, this is a sequel, but it plays just like the others.
Do you mind that? Do you mind experiencing the reboots, the rehashes, etc.?
No. Dude, Sonic Mania is like one of the best Sonic games of all time, and that game is nothing but a rehash. It's crazy, but it still manages to feel new.
How Sega was that as compared to Sonic Forces?
It was more. Sonic Mania, I think, cared more about the Sega's lineage than Sega did with Sonic Forces.
But I guess you bring up a good point in that it's still allowed to exist, because I mean, essentially, is that a fan game? I mean, because from what I understand, Sonic Mania was made by fans of the Hedgehog.
it started as like this team that made fan projects. I believe I don't know the full story, but but I believe that they made fan games, and then Sega was like, "Hey, come on, here."
I think
Make a
Sega's
game for
always
us.
been pretty receptive to the fans taking the initiative in some of the projects, much more so than compared to Nintendo, who's always been kind of sticklers about uses of their
Hmm.
intellectual properties.
Yeah, Nintendo will take those projects down, but Sega doesn't. I don't think they mind. I don't. They. If we. For one, like Sonic Mania, they hired fans to make that game, and it's one of the fucking best Sonic games of all time. So that should tell you something. But like I've never heard of Sega like taking down videos or fan projects, because of this or that.
Mm, that
Um,
is fair.
what do you think about what else is coming? Shenmue 3's coming.
You know, I brought my new TV over from the house. I'm still furnishing the apartment.
Uh huh.
Um, and I brought the PlayStation 4. This is probably the third time I've tried to play Shenmue, and I'm doing it. I'm gonna get there, but I am excited. I am excited about people who love the series.
Uh huh.
I'm excited that one of the most ambitious projects in video gaming has another opportunity, and I think it is a great time to be both a Shenmue fan, but also a Sega fan. Shenmue is just one of several examples of games in the last 2 years that are essentially the heart of Sega, and I
Hmm.
am delighted to know that I can buy it.
Hmm.
What do you
I
think?
think. I think. Well, for one, I do love Shenmue. I have the original and the sequel. I have the original on Dreamcast and the sequel on Xbox because it didn't get the Dreamcast release here in North America. But I've always loved those games. For as long as I've known they've existed. So I'm super excited to play it, and honestly, I'm hoping that it does well. I don't know how well it's gonna do because it is like the end of a trilogy, so it's almost like seeing the last movie, before seeing the other two. So I feel like a lot of people need to play the first two, and I don't know if they will. That's concerning.
It's almost a weird time to be a fan of longtime series, I think. Because
Hmm.
the extent to which you really need to hype up these projects, part of it's on the legacy. And I mean, the legacy of Shenmue is a failed game. It's almost the heart of the conversation that Sega failed.
Yeah, it's like this is what kind of drove the Dreamcast overboard. It was such a big project.
But there is such an outcry for it as well. I think the fact that you see $5 million contributed, I don't know the exact amount actually, but it's in the millions for the
'Cause
Kickstarter project.
that's one thing that I've noticed is that Sega fans are like one of the most like dedicated fan bases.
Ride or Die. I think what's another one? Toe Jam and Earl.
Yeah, exactly. Toad Dim and Earl, the Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy. Oh my God. How many?
Yeah,
We've
Wonder
gotten
Boy.
like 3 Wonder Boy games in the past year or two.
Yeah. No, you're right. We've gotten the Wonder Boy, Monster Boy, and then the Wonder Boy remake one too. So there's been like three. Yeah. There's been fucking three Wonder Boy games.
And no shade to Wonder Boy. Like, I'll take him as a mascot over Alex Kidd.
Yeah, I like Wonder Boy games. They're
And
fun.
nobody's going to go asking for like the Alex Kidd reboot, When they've, honed in on a series that's kind of sadly died off, the fans bring it back. And that is really commendable.
I kind of wish they'd do something for Shinobi.
Hmm.
I mean, they had that 3DS game. It was okay. It was pretty fun, but I don't know. I kind of want something a little more faithful to the classic Shinobi games.
Well, I felt it was faithful. I just felt it was the wrong platform for it.
Yeah, maybe that was the issue. You know what? I do think I beat it, or at least I got very far. I did like it.
It's quite fun. It's in the vein of Shinobi 3,
Yeah,
the best Shinobi.
the best one. You took my line, Teddy. Fuck you.
You've said it enough times. I can take it. It's now
the
my
best
intellectual
one.
property.
it's it's the best one.
So
But
I
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm just gonna say I like that, or maybe some of like the Sega racing games, because Sega is a fucking force to be reckoned with with the racing titles.
Which non-Sega platform do you think they've excelled the most on?
Ooh, that's tough. Um, like current or just overall?
Overall.
My favorite would probably be the original Xbox because they really kind of gave that console a little more love than I think they did the PS2 or GameCube to an extent. They worked with Nintendo closely with the GameCube, yeah, but the Xbox got like a lot of exclusive Sega games.
So I know like there's the Panzer Dragoon. There's a Crazy
Yeah,
Taxi? Is
yeah,
there what
crazy.
else?
Hold on, let me see what how many I can name. There's Shenmue 2, which is exclusive here in North America. Crazy Taxi 3, Panzer Dragoon Orta, Gun Valkyrie, Monkey Ball Deluxe, I believe, was exclusive to Xbox for a while. I don't know if that ever came out on another console or not. That's like a pack-in of the first two games, pretty much. Jet Set Radio Future. I don't know if I said that one yet. With the Otage and Otage 2. So that's already eight exclusive games right there, and I think there's more that I can't think of right now. So
That is pretty impressive, and I mean, all of those games sound great. So I mean, I can't knock that. So I watched a video by VG Mashup, the
VG
homie,
Mashup.
the homie. He did a video called Sega on the Xbox 360, and he showcased a lot of great titles. I don't have much familiarity with them on the 360, but I kind of wanted to highlight a comment that he had left me back, and I just want to know your thoughts on it. So he says, yeah, Sega brought their IPs in full force, and he's talking about regarding to the 360. I played the heck out of Virtua Fighter on the PS2. Lately, they've been focusing on Sonic and Yakuza along with hardware and software classics, and it's hard to argue with that, but I wish we had a bit more originality like we saw from them during 7th generation, especially on the Wii, which you guys talked about in your Wii episode. Hey. Shout outs to our Wii episode. Hey, maybe someday you'll decide to revisit the Xbox 360. Luckily, none of this stuff crazy expensive, etc., etc. I can't scroll down anymore.
Yeah.
Shout outs to VG Mashup. We love you, brother. Thank you for the insightful comment. But Alex, I did want to know your thoughts on the fact that they've been focusing on Sonic, Yakuza, and classic titles.
Yeah. Okay, well, as a Sonic fan, I do enjoy the Sonic, so I can't really complain on that front. You know, I mean, they've always focused on Sonic. I don't think that's ever been a like that's never not been there, except for like maybe the Saturn. You know, like seems like since Adventure, there's been a Sonic game coming out like right around the corner. So I don't know if that's really a big issue. I think that's just been going on like the way it's always been. It's just the fact that hasn't been much else. You know, like I've only recently gotten into Yakuza, so I can't comment too much on that series yet. But I do miss some of the originality. I know, like last generation, part of that was because they had a close partnership with Platinum Games. So a lot of the original titles like Bayonetta, Mad World, Vanquish, those were Platinum Games titles. Anarchy Reigns, and and Platinum Games has kind of like moved on to like Nintendo now and stuff. So I think they lost part of that. And I don't know. I feel like they just don't know what direction to take a lot of their series. I mean, they even tried to bring back Golden Axe last generation, and it was kind of dumb. With Beast Rider, so. But I could see them definitely if like this Streets of Rage 4 project works out really well, or Shenmue 3 works out really well. I could see them definitely pulling from their older IPs and doing some new stuff. I think they're actually re-releasing a Monkey Ball game on Switch soon too, like Banana Splits or something or whatever the one, or I don't know what the fuck it was. I didn't play the later Monkey Ball games. I can admit that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, from what I understand, the original Monkey Ball is the only one you need.
Monkey Ball 2.
1 and 2. Yeah.
Monkey Ball 2 all the way.
Deluxe. I mean, I've heard Deluxe is pretty fantastic.
Yeah. There's a Sega GT game on Xbox. That's 9.
It's one more for the collection.
What if you could bring back any Sega IP? What would you choose?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just because of like curiosity's sake. But Panzer Dragoon Saga costs a month's rent, and I'm never going to pay that. So I want a something of Panzer Dragoon Saga. I want to play it. I don't want to have to play it in Japanese. I want to play the American version. So that's what I want brought back.
Hey, Teddy, I just remembered another exclusive Xbox game. It's Outrun 2.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Look at
10.
that. It's wild.
If I had to bring back one Sega IP that I think deserves another shot, I don't know. That's a tough one. Maybe Rystar? That'd be an interesting one.
How would you do it?
Because we're in like this age of the retro revivals and stuff like that, or like the indie revivals. So I would maybe still keep it the same base platformer game, but kind of like expand on the mechanics and change the art style. Make it a little more. Maybe use like a more like a hand drawn art style or something. Like it could work. I think Rystar is a good game. It's just really underappreciated.
What's the last one or ones that were brought back that you were really fond of? And you're not allowed to say Sonic Mania.
Fuck. God damn it.
You said enough about Sonic Mania.
I love Sonic Mania. That's a tough one. I have to think.
I got you. 3D classics. I played most of them on the 3DS, and I still play them. I still play Outrun on the 3DS. I find that game is smooth. It's beautiful. I did like it with a 3D effect, but now I use the 2DS, so bye-bye to that.
Oh, shit. Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Are you still listing off Xbox games? Or no, that's the recent one.
Yes, Puyo Puyo Tetris is like one of my favorite games.
Okay.
And I actually have a review of that on my channel. Here's a plug if you want if you want to go watch that. That's like my favorite puzzle game of all time because it's fucking Puyo Puyo, which is my favorite puzzle game of all time, and Tetris like played together. It's so good. And that was something that I didn't really expect to see. I actually imported that game on the PS3 long before it got a North American release on the PS4. Which I did buy the North American version too, so I have two versions of that game. But I imported it because I was like, oh, they're never gonna bring that to North America and like physical form. And then they did, and I was like, oh shit. So, but maybe that one was like the last time they brought back an old franchise, and I was like, hell yeah. So
nice. I didn't even think about it. And that's kind of beautiful. It's kind of beautiful that the software library really is that vast, especially in recent years. What would you advise Sega publishing in the next year or two?
So
I want to go back to what VG Mashup said. He said like Yakuza, right? And that's kind of like the buzzword right now. And you had said Platinum Games. I don't know the relationship exactly, but when there's Yakuza 0, 1, 2, 6, and now 3, 5, and 3, 4, and 5 slated for digital release.
Kiwami.
Well, Kiwami is 1. And Fist of the North Star, Judgment, and probably another one that I'm forgetting. There's just it's been too many of these for the past 3 years. They're lucky that they're catching the break now that they've released all of them on the PlayStation 4, which is amazing in and of itself.
No, they didn't release Dead Souls. Fuck.
Now that they've released all of the main games on the PS4.
I'm just gonna skim over that one. Lord.
So now that they've released Yakuza 0 through 6 on the PS4, I think they can use this opportunity to really focus on some other things. I think the fact that we're getting the Genesis Mini is cool. I mean, I'm not like that excited about it, but it's in the back of my mind. And I really am looking forward to them working on some new stuff. I just feel like Yakuza has been a bit of a dead horse lately. Not to say they're bad. I like them, but it's not, when you think Sega, I don't necessarily think Yakuza is the first thing I think of.
The Yakuza team last generation made Binary Domain, and that game is fucking good. And I wish they would do another sequel to that, because there's only one game so far.
Okay.
And it didn't get a chance last generation because it is a cover-based shooter, but it has interesting and different mechanics coming from the Yakuza team that really make it stand out, and the story is really good. And I wish that they didn't try to market it as Gears of War, because that's what they tried to do and it failed.
Mm-hmm.
So if they would have marketed it towards its strengths, I think it would have done really good, especially now. So I would like to see a sequel to that.
Okay. I think the Yakuza marketing is brilliant. I think if, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because of like the sheer hilarity and insanity of it, and it just meshes well with like internet culture for some reason, because I see a lot of people tweet about Yakuza games. I think if they apply that, there are opportunities for games like Binary Domain 2.
Yeah. Well, it's just like Yakuza. I think what works well with the marketing for those games is that the stories themselves take themselves very seriously, and then you sprinkle in just nonsense in between. So it's like almost like the game's not even aware the fact that it's really fucking ridiculous.
They also hire professional Japanese actors in them. The only reason I was really turned on to Yakuza 6 is because my favorite actor/director was a figure in the game,
Takeshi.
and they show him off in the trailer. Takeshi.
Takeshi.
Gotta love Takeshi.
Yeah. So, maybe they could use some of that marketing for other Sega games, that maybe didn't get the love. Maybe we can get the Jet Set Radio 3. Maybe that can happen. They were going to do that on the Wii, and it didn't happen. Maybe we can get another Knights game. People seem to like Knights.
Cool. So I got one more question. You got anything you want to ask?
No, go ahead and ask your question.
If you could make, like, I hate to say a top 3, but top 3 Sega games to own in a collection, or just to have played in your lifetime, what would they be?
Oof. Do we have to do one per franchise?
No.
Fuck, dude. This is tough. I love so many Sega games.
Just 3.
Just three Sega games. Outrun 2 is probably my favorite Sega racing game. I want to see a Sonic title. Sonic 2, maybe Sonic Mania. I don't know.
Okay.
Sonic Heroes. I don't know. Shadow the Hedgehog. Just kidding, not kidding. And fuck it, Shinobi 3.
There you go.
I love Shinobi 3. It's a good game. What about you? What are your top 3? Off the cuff.
We're lucky that.
I think if I had more time to think, I would have come up with a different top 3. But
we can revise it later.
Yeah, just like off the top of my head.
Yeah, of course, that's fine. So we're lucky that there's no Clue Land port, so I don't need to bash that. This episode.
I think they would have made it better, honestly.
Yeah, with that Genesis D-pad is just too good. So I mean, it's hard because it's the games that you feel have to be played. It's like you have no choice, but you should definitely play them. I would probably say Sonic Mania over 1, 2, and 3. The first 3 are good, but I think Sonic Mania is
Sonic Mania
maybe a little more. And I could see Sonic 2. I'm not going to knock you for that. And I'm going to pick one per console for Genesis, Saturn,
Space Channel 5,
Dreamcast. No, Shenmue. Shenmue's an obvious pick.
Oh.
Just to experience, I don't necessarily think it's like I think it's an important game to play. Like you should play it. You and yeah, you and I don't want to pick Knights, but I mean, come on, play Knights.
I think I might trade out one of mine for. I think I might trade out Shenmue 3 for House of the Dead 3.
Ooh,
that's a fucking good game too.
House of the Dead 3. Which
is that on?
I
miss
Dreamcast.
House of the Dead. Yes, but no. House of the Dead, 2 was on Dreamcast. 3 was on the Xbox. Okay. 3's on the Xbox, but I played it on the Wii port.
Ooh, there's a platformer you're not thinking of.
Fuck, what is that?
You mentioned it recently, I think.
Did I?
It involves the knight.
Oh, Clockwork. Yeah, Clockwork Knight's really good too.
No, it's a different knight. It involves Knight Adventures.
What am I not thinking of?
It's in the vein of Sonic. 2-pass cool, Force cool.
Stop giving me hints. Just tell me. I forget. I have forgotten.
16-bit.
Rocket Knight.
Yeah, Rocket Knight.
Well, that's a Konami game, though.
Oh, is that? Well, I just thought it's on the Sega. So.
Oh well, talking just strictly games on Sega platforms, yes, Rocket Knight. Yeah, I'd probably play Rocket Knight over Sonic 1 or maybe even Sonic 3. I don't know.
All right.
That's a bold claim.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you didn't put it over 2, so I can see where your heart is at.
I love 2.
Yeah.
That's why Spencer's not doing the video with us.
Love you, Spencer. So, that's our top 3. That's our discourse on the Sega.
Yeah, just bullshitting about Sega, man. We love Sega. And if you love Sega, let us know why. If you don't love Sega, don't comment, Spencer.
Spencer, I love your comments. Please comment.
I'm okay. I'm just kidding. If you don't like Sega, let us know why also. But maybe share. You know what? I want to know what your top 3 Sega games are. Please put them in the comments. That'd be interesting to know.
Already on it. On the comment.
Not you, Teddy. You don't get to put yours in the comments.
Why? I revised my list.
Because you're in the video.
What if I wanted to say
Sonic 06, Sonic Riders, Sonic and the Secret Rings,
VR Troopers / Columns.
Columns. Man, I really wish they would bring back House of the Dead. You know, I was actually at a Dave & Buster's and they have a new House of the Dead machine.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, cool. I wish this was on like a console, like a play at home. And now we would not have to be at Dave & Buster's to play this.
Wait, you wanted to go to Dave & Buster's to play Columns?
No, for House of the Dead, not Columns.
Oh, okay.
No, well, if they had Columns, I might play it.
You might, yeah. No, it's hard to turn that down.
I mean, you know, they have the Mario Kart machines and the Luigi's Mansion arcade machine, but you know, fucking Columns. Like, I don't know if I can pass that one now.
It's not every day you see a Columns arcade cabinet.
It's not every day you get to play Columns
at the Dave & Buster's.
Fucking Columns. Bring back Columns. Columns Rebirth.
Yeah,
Columns Rebirth. Columns Extreme.
Sega, I don't think you've ported Columns enough times.
I don't know. Have they? Because I think they've ported it enough times.
I know.
At least the first one. And that fucking music.
That's the tear my face off music.
That's the music I'm gonna wake up in like a cold sweat one day and be hearing. Like, oh god.
No. That's gonna be the next Clockwork Orange.
it's like it's me tied to a chair with my eyes.
Turn it off.
No, Columns.
I just wanted to play Sonic.
Yeah, it's like when I start up the 6-pack and I accidentally hit Columns. I'm like, God damn it.
The reset button is not working.
You stuck playing Columns. God. Okay. Well, that happened.
Yeah. And that was a big game, you know. Big game first time.
Well, meet us next time for our map out of columns.
Shit. I don't want to do that.
Okay. We'll do Clue Clue Land. Okay.
I'll settle for Mean Bean Machine.
Ooh, well, that's just Puyo Puyo.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay, that's it. Hope you enjoy the discourse.
Hope you enjoyed the columns conversation. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.